Okay, today we are diving deep into the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza to answer a really powerful question. What if you could stop just reliving your past over and over, and instead you could start consciously creating your future? And what if you could do it all before 10 a.m.? Let's get right into it. So let's just kick things off with this question right here. I want you to think about your day so far. Really think about it. Did you consciously choose the thoughts you were thinking, the feelings you were feeling? Or did it feel more like you were running on a familiar script, kind of on autopilot? This one question, well, it's at the heart of everything we're about to unpack. And here's what's so wild about this. Dr. Dispenza's work points to this incredible statistic. By the time we hit our mid-30s, a staggering 95% of who we are is just a memorized set of behaviors, knee-jerk emotional reactions, and subconscious programs. We're not even kidding, we are literally running on autopilot almost all of the time. So let's just go ahead and call this thing what it is, the autopilot program. You can think of it like an unconscious operating system that's running in the background, directing most of our life and, you guessed it, keeping us stuck right in the familiar territory of our past. Think about your own morning routine. You wake up, you probably grab the same phone, you start thinking the same thoughts about your to-do list or your problems, you feel the same familiar emotions, and you go through the exact same motions. Well, this cycle creates a totally predictable reality because if you're doing the same thing every day, you're going to get the same results. You are quite literally recreating your past every single day. So why is this autopilot so ridiculously powerful? Well, it's not just a bad habit. For so many of us, it's actually a full-blown addiction. But it's not an addiction to a substance. No, we're addicted to the emotions of our past. Okay, this part is absolutely crucial. See, when you repeatedly feel an emotion, let's say it's stress, your body's cells literally adapt to expect that chemical cocktail. It becomes your new normal, your baseline. And pretty soon, your body actually starts to drive your mind, sending signals that say, hey, think some more stressful thoughts so I can get my chemical fix. And this right here shows you that feedback loop perfectly. It goes like this. You have a worried thought, right? That thought produces the chemical feeling of anxiety. Your body, which is now so used to that feeling, sends a signal back up to your brain saying, hey, I need more of that. So what does your brain do? It obliges by thinking even more worried thoughts. And just like that, you're trapped in a cycle of just being your old self. So yeah, that's the problem. But here's where things get incredibly empowering. Because if our mind is powerful enough to trap us in that loop, it also holds the key to breaking free. This is all about the power of that mind-body connection. This is the central question Dr. Dispenza poses, and it's a game changer. We all pretty much accept that stress, which is really just a series of thoughts, can cause very real physical problems, like high blood pressure or a weak immune system. So doesn't it have to follow that intentional positive thoughts could create health and wellness? Well, the answer is a resounding yes. Let's look at the biology for a second. When you're in that stress response, you are in survival mode. Your body thinks there's a threat, so it diverts all its energy away from long-term projects like growth and repair. But, and this is the key, when you consciously cultivate feelings like joy or gratitude, you switch into a state of creation. You are literally signaling new genes in new ways, telling your body to heal, to repair, and to thrive. So how in the world do we actually make that switch? How do we break the habit of being our old self and step into this amazing creative mode? Well, it takes a conscious decision to overcome our own programming. I just love this idea. To be greater than your body means you don't let those chemical cravings for old emotions run the show anymore. To be greater than your environment means you don't let the people or circumstances in your life automatically trigger your old reactions. And to be greater than time means you stop living in anticipation of a predictable future that's just based on a memory of your past. And the main tool you need for this is something called metacognition. It's really just a fancy word for thinking about your thinking. You have to become the observer of your own mind. The moment you can say, there's that familiar thought of worry again, you are no longer being the thought. You are the consciousness observing it. And in that little bit of space, that separation, that's where all your power to change is. Okay, so once you can observe that old self, you can finally begin to consciously design the new one. This is where the practical daily work comes in. This is the what you can do before 10 a.m. part that can completely change the entire trajectory of your life. The morning practice is actually pretty simple. It's made up of 3 core steps. It's all about disconnecting from your old reality, rehearsing the new one you want, and then teaching your body what that new reality actually feels like. All right, let's break it down. Step 1, you disconnect. This means you get away from your phone and your routine. You just sit down, close your eyes, and go within. Step 2, you rehearse. You mentally practice being the new you. You ask yourself, what's the greatest expression of myself I can be today? And then step 3, and this is the most important part of all, you feel it. You don't just think about gratitude. You generate the feeling of gratitude in your body, right now, as if your amazing future has already happened.
And here's where the magic really happens. That clear intention, that's the rehearsal part. That's the new blueprint for your brain. And the elevated emotion, that's the feeling part. That's the new chemical signature you're sending to your body. When you combine those two, you are literally changing your state of being. Your brain and your body are no longer living in the past. They are living in the future that you are creating in that moment. This quote from Dr. Dispenza just sums the whole thing up so perfectly. You stop being a victim of your past and you step into the role of being the creator of your reality. You don't wait for your life to change. You change your energy first, and then your life has to follow. So, as we wrap this up, the final question isn't for me, it's for you. Based on everything we've just talked about, the person you are tomorrow morning is no longer a foregone conclusion, it's a choice. So who will you decide to be?